Good morning to all the listeners out there. This is Mitch Taebel and Donna Kavanaugh on Harbor Country Radio. We've got a great show for you today. We're going to give you some updates on my campaign for President of the United States, and Donna's going to give you some updates on current events and issues.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Mitch, for that wonderful introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me here on Kavanaugh Tomasi Live. And it's the beginning of Memorial Day weekend, the kickoff of the summer, but more importantly, honoring our veterans who gave their lives to save our country. And I hope that you are going to do some of that in between, Mitch. Barbecuing hot dogs and hamburgers, okay. Mitch, welcome.
Summer is here.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That was a great introduction. Thank you. Mitch Taebel is here. He is running for president. That is the honest truth, and he's doing a darn good job of it. Mitch, why don't you tell people a little bit about that, would you?
Well, yeah, first off, this is the best time of year for everybody who lives in Long Beach and lives on the lake here.
Oh, yeah. And Harbor Country, definitely.
The town really comes to life. It's a lot of fun. Great place to be in the summertime.
Yeah.
Blue Chip Casino, nice places to stay, great beaches, best beaches in the Midwest.
I think so. And now
Absolutely.
We have a national park, too, over on the Indiana side.
That's right.
Do you know they had 1 million people visit there last year since it became a national park?
Wow.
That's
awesome.
Great. And we have parks right up here in Michigan and Southwest Michigan. By the way, Chicago Magazine, ladies and gentlemen, and Mitch, they're doing a whole magazine about Southwest Michigan. It's on the stands right now. So if you happen to be by Barney's Market or over in Al's, someplace where they sell magazines, maybe Walmart, I don't know, pick up a copy. It's all about Southwest Michigan. It should be interesting. Anyway, we are celebrating, if you can put it that way, Memorial Day. There are a lot of things going on, Mitch, around the area, both on the Indiana and the Michigan side, honoring our veterans, both in cemeteries, and they're doing the blessing of the boats over in Michigan City, and just a lot of, young men and older men and veterans who are playing taps at various sites, and there'll be, the American Legion and other places that are devoting themselves to this holiday. So if you get a chance, people, you should take some time out, don't you think, Mitch, to honor our veterans?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it used to be called, Armistice Day. And
Freedom is not free.
No, it's not. You're right about that. And they were celebrating it back in the 1900s because of World War I, and now it's just become a staple in our country. But, Mitch, we had a rude awakening about 2 days ago, and I know you've been very busy campaigning for president. We're going to get into that at the bottom of the hour, ladies and gentlemen. And I think the Queen is going to be joining us, so that'll be interesting. But there was a terrible situation that happened in Texas. And I can't even believe that it's happened again. But I'm just going to play a little snippet. I know you haven't heard much about it. You've been kind of preoccupied, Mitch. But let me just play this. I tried to grab some things in audio recordings to play for us. And I know if you out there have been having any time to watch television or listen to the radio, you know about this. Hold on. Just a minute. Let me see if I can find it. And we'll play this snippet for you if I can get it. 96, where are you? Okay. Hold on. Oh, that's odd. All right. Oh, that would help if I had the sound on, wouldn't it? Okay.
The little kids go to school thinking that they might be shot that day.
Yeah.
We will continue to track the latest in this horrific shooting tonight.
So there was horrific shooting in the home in a small town about an hour north of the border where everything's been happening. People are just coming across the border in droves. And Mitch, we're still finding out more about what happened. But this is the same city that Matthew McConaughey was born in. He actually, I believe, went to the school where the shooting was when he was a young boy. His mother was a teacher. His father worked in the oil and gas industry in Texas. And then after a while, they moved away and ended up in L.A., where he became a big star. And he has promised, ladies and gentlemen, Matthew McConaughey has promised to help these people in his town where he was born. Now, let me just see if I can bring up something else about this. Go ahead. Play it.
First responders that arrived on scene during this active shooter situation. So what we do know is that the shooter was involved in a domestic disturbance with his grandmother prior to the shooting at the school. He did shoot his grandmother. At that point, he then fled in a vehicle and was in close proximity near the school where we got calls. Local law enforcement at the Uvalde Police Department received a call of a crashed vehicle and a individual armed with a weapon making his way into the school. At that point, we had local law enforcement, school officers, as well as state troopers who were first on scene and were able to hear the actual gunshots inside the classroom. They tried to make entry into the building. They were met with gunfire by the suspect, by the shooter. Some of those officers were shot. So at that point, they began breaking windows around the school, trying to evacuate children, teachers, anybody they could, trying to get them out of that building, out of that school. What we do know at that point, the shooter was able to make entry into a classroom, barricaded himself inside that classroom, and again, just began shooting numerous children and teachers that were in that classroom, having no regard for human life, just a complete evil person.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I know you've been hearing all about that.
Wow.
Mitch, it's another tragedy, horrific tragedy.
Absolutely. I'm pro Second Amendment rights, absolutely, all the way. But
well, you know,
I know the gun control advocates are going to use this.
And they already have, okay?
Yeah.
And this has opened up another can of worms all about, you know, is it guns that kill people or people that kill people? And as a matter of fact, President Biden, let's play that. It's number 99. He weighed in on it last night. He got a lot of, a lot of criticism for instead of, you know, being kind of a leader and telling people, you know, we have to heal. He used it as a bully pulpit for, you know, trying to get the Second Amendment and more restrictions on guns. Now, ironically, Mitch, there's going to be a big convention for the gun owners and that union, you know, that I can't remember the name.
NRA?
Thank you. Yes, it's in Houston, I believe, this weekend. President Trump is going to be there. Many governors, mayors, they're all going to be there. The NRA went bankrupt. People are not giving money to the NRA like they used to, and they claim they're going to be, you know, talking about don't restrict our guns. It's not our fault. We are law-abiding people. What we have to do is deal with mental illness. Now, here's President Biden last night, ladies and gentlemen, here on Kavanaugh Live with Donna Kavanaugh. Mitch Taebel running for president. We're going to talk to him about that at the half an hour. And all of you, stay with us. This is President Biden Wednesday night. Go ahead. All right.
In Parkland, Florida. Santa Fe High School in Texas. Oxford High School in Michigan. The list goes on, and the list grows. When it includes mass shootings at places like movie theaters, houses of worship, as we saw just 10 days ago at a grocery store in Buffalo, New York. I am sick and tired of it.
Really?
We have to act.
Like the border?
And don't tell me we can't have an impact on this carnage. I spent my career as a senator and a vice president working to pass common sense gun laws. We can and won't prevent every tragedy, but we know they work and have positive impact. When we passed the assault weapons ban, mass shootings went down. When the law expired, mass shootings tripled.
Well, actually, that's not true. And I did a lot of research. I didn't bring everything with me because I don't want to stay on this topic too long. It's kind of sad, to say the least. There were something like 19 children killed, Mitch, and two teachers, and there's still children in the hospital, so we don't know what's going to happen.
I think
there.
what common sense requires is that they have armed security guards, or that teachers, you know, take gun training and and even are armed in the classroom. That would solve all the problems right there.
Good point. And, to have locks on the doors so you can't just bully your way in. But let me tell you about this shooter. He had just turned 18. Right before he turned 18, he bought 2 assault rifles. He was showing them online and doing posts online with some young woman that he found on Facebook. And I don't know how it works, but he tagged her. She didn't want to be tagged, and he was telling her, something is going to happen. And then he told her, I'm going to shoot my grandmother. I'm going to shoot a school. And she didn't know who this guy was. But let me tell you, this kid,
she should have reported that to authorities.
Well, she didn't,
and if it was written online, she could prove it. And I'm sure they could get some kind of restraining order or something against the kid. And, they could probably get a court order to take away his Second Amendment rights if he's making threats like that online, I would assume.
Allegedly, he did that right before he left to shoot his grandmother. But you make very good points. And I think a lot of things slipped through the cracks yet again with this young man. We just saw this other kid go up to Buffalo and shoot people in a grocery store. This young man in Texas, he had a lisp, and he also stuttered like President Biden used to do. And he got bullied in that school that he went back to shoot into. So that was the connection there, I believe. And then as he got older in high school, he was bullied and he got picked on, and he started dressing all in black, from what I understand. He would put black eyeliner on and get laughed at for that. One day he showed up at a park, and he had slashes all over his face. People asked what it was, and he said his cat did it. But then he admitted later he just cut himself up for fun. He worked for a little while at a Wendy's, a fast food joint in the little town that he lived in of 15,000 people, and he was making weird advances toward the women the young girls that were working there. And he also was living, before this happened, with his mother, who allegedly is a drug addict. They had a big fight. She kicked him out of the house. That's how he ended up at his grandparents' house. Apparently, he had an argument with his grandmother and shot her in the face. Then he went over to the school and massacred these children. I mean, it's just, you can't make this stuff up, Mitch. It's just terrible.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to talk about my campaign for a minute here.
Well, we're going to do that.
Tell everybody about the new release. My latest and greatest
do that at the half-hour
epic
break.
Production has been released, everybody. It's on YouTube. We'll get back to it in a minute.
We're going to do that at the half-hour break. I'm going to give you the whole half an hour, but I do want to get through some of this stuff. Now, oh, yes, I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, but there was a very interesting week. Besides the Johnny Depp trial that makes you never want to get married, they were on Capitol Hill talking about this.
Identified aircraft or objects in military-controlled training areas and training ranges and other designated airspace. Reports of sightings are frequent and...
Hi, everyone. I'm John
must be a
Wallace,
UFO.
co-founder of Workbox. We created Workbox because...
Okay, now that was a commercial that came on.
We attribute this increase in reporting to a number of factors, including our work to destigmatize reporting, an increase in the number of new systems such as quadcopters and unmanned aerial systems that are in our airspace, identification of what we can classify as clutter, mylar balloons and other types of air trash, and improvements in the capabilities of our various sensors to detect things in our airspace. Almost 2 years ago, in August of 2020, Deputy Secretary of Defense Nordquist directed the establishment of the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force within the Department of the Navy. The UAP Task Force was built on the foundation of the Navy's initial efforts to respond to the reports from our aviators on unidentified objects observed in our training ranges. The basic issues then and now are twofold. First, incursions in our training ranges by unidentified objects represent serious hazards to safety of flight.
You think?
In every aspect of naval aviation, safety of our air crews is paramount. Second, intrusions by unknown aircraft or objects pose potential threats to the security of our operations. Our aviators train as they would fight. So any intrusions that may compromise the security of our operations by revealing our capabilities, our tactics, techniques, or procedures are of great concern.
Okay, Mitch, that was on Capitol Hill last week. They finally came out, the Pentagon released all these papers about UFO, now they have a different word for them now, but unidentified flying objects that have been spotted for decades. So have you ever seen one?
I have not.
Yeah. One landed in my backyard, according to the Blue Book Project, in 1961. I've talked about this before, but I slept through the whole thing. But I have a wooded lot behind my house, Mitch, and there was another wooded lot next to that. Now there's a house on it, owned by the CFO of Jimmy John's recently. But, yeah, it was investigated by the Blue Book Project. You can look that up, ladies and gentlemen. It was the beginning of our government looking into UFOs. They came out, and Mitch, they talked to everybody in the community. They investigated for about 2 months, and they came back about 6 months later with the book that they wrote up about our situation. And they said, yes, we don't know what it was, but there definitely was something unidentified that landed in the wooded lot behind your house. So, yeah, and I know people around here have seen things. A lot of people have been very interested in this. Do you believe in unidentified flying objects?
Sure.
Yeah? Tell me about that.
Well, it seems implausible that we're the only ones in the universe. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, well, there's going to be a lot more evidence, ladies and gentlemen, coming out. So if you're interested in this at all, you're going to have a feast for the eyes, no doubt about it. And that'll be interesting. So getting on with some things that are happening, we are having lots of primaries around the country. Some of Donald Trump's...
Don, why don't we just talk about my campaign for a minute? We can save... We'll make time for that. We'll get it in.
Well, I just want to get this last part
I would
in
like to talk freely about, what I've been doing here. And
okay, we're going to do that, but right now I just want to get this last part in, then we'll take a break and devote the whole half of the show to you, okay? So Donald Trump has been fighting and talking at various rallies for different candidates on the Republican side, for governor, for sometimes senator, congressman. He lost in a primary, I think it was in Georgia. That was a big loss for him, but he's been winning around the country with people that he's been backing. So before we take a musical break and get to you, I wanted our audience to know all about your campaign. Let's just listen to this for a minute.
Who will lead them into November's general election. Whether they mean to or not, they're also determining how much vengeance Donald Trump will win here. No other Republican candidate in America has seen more rage from Donald Trump,
and let's bring this home,
than this man, Georgia Governor Brian Kemp. The former president is still mad that Kemp refused to get in the way of the 2020 presidential election results that gave Joe Biden a victory here.
Brian Kemp is a turncoat, is a coward.
For governor, the former president campaigned hard for former Senator David Perdue, helping to give his campaign nearly $2.5 million, more than any other candidate this election season.
We have a governor that's done the worst job of any governor in probably decades on election integrity.
But on the night before the
Donald
election,
Trump's
Trump's former vice president was in Georgia picking sides, and it wasn't his former bosses.
I should definitely get the Republican nomination here.
Now, and the reason I just put you off a little bit is I wanted to play this to bring you in, because that's what's going on around the country with people that are running for Congress and senator. That's what you're up against. And I know you have a whole different way of campaigning, which I admire you greatly for. So I turn the whole show over to you.
Well, the reason I say that is he blatantly talked about prosecuting the states and the public for cannabis. And I've said it many times before, but at least 2/3 of the population believes it should be legal. Yeah. So he's basically talking about, maliciously prosecuting tens of thousands of people against the will of the supermajority of the public, and that's just an entirely insane thing to say on TV. So it's
you're right.
Who would vote for somebody who would say something like that on TV?
Good point. And
I would think he would lost the Republican nomination right there. They should be calling me.
Well, hopefully they will, because right now we're sandwiched in between Michigan and Illinois that both allow marijuana, and Indiana doesn't. And the governor just said, no, he's not going to allow it. He doesn't want it. He thinks that people will drive high and all of that. But, it's the way of the world now. There's no stop.
At this point, I'm asking the listeners and everybody out there who follows this campaign on social media, and I'm asking the public to contact the legislators and ask them to call me. And I think that's what needs to happen, is there needs to be pressure from the public on legislators, both federal and state, to give me a call. And I think that's how things need to proceed. And I'm doing everything I can, here campaigning all the time. I'm working 24/7. But anyways, the campaign is not really going anywhere if I can't get in contact with, Republican members.
Well, you have a video out right now, and you just showed me parts of it. I've seen other parts. You put it together. It's about half an hour long?
35 minutes. It's the longest production on my YouTube channel. I currently have 46 videos.
Wow. And tell people where they can find that.
You can just YouTube my name.
Spell it for us?
Sure. Yes, Taebel, Taebel. First name's Mitch, Mitch.
Mitch Taebel. He has a YouTube site, and you can see him campaigning. You've been to Chicago, Indianapolis. You were in California. I mean, you're really going at it. I give you a lot of credit for that, Mitch. And how has it been for you? Have you been getting a lot of positive feedback from people besides me about your campaign?
Yeah, I get a lot of positive feedback, and the YouTube channel campaign is improving at all times. So I'm an actor and a filmmaker, and this is a great way for me to campaign. And a lot of people agree that, I should absolutely win the election. And what I have on the YouTube channel and the book, but mostly I think the YouTube channel is what really appeals to people. And spending a lot of time doing karaoke, campaigning, and
great.
And recording a lot of them. And so I get an audience, and I get to perform, and then I get to put it on the YouTube channel. And I think that appeals to people a lot more than talking about politics. This is really about competence, and I clearly have confidence, and my entire campaign rests on the fact that I'm a genius, and I need people. The more people that understand that and believe that, the better. But for me, stand-up and karaoke is just one more way to prove that. I think I proved that with my book, and I've demonstrated that in many ways. But I think we really need a film director in the White House.
Well, we've got I don't know what we have in the White House right now. I don't know who's actually running the show in the White House. I'm just being honest, people, because I'm a registered Democrat, but I don't get it. And, I saw President Biden last night, and I don't know if you saw any of his speech, Mitch, but there he was talking about, gun control and using the bully pulpit to talk about that. Meanwhile, he's letting people stream across the border. He's putting them on planes in the middle of the night, landing in small airports around the country. Then these illegitimate, and God bless them, come across legally, but they're illegals. He puts them on buses and drives them to different places around the country. It's unbelievable. So I just don't see, it's like hypocrisy to me.
It does not take a genius to solve these problems. It's just a matter of getting it done, and that depends largely on competence to make it happen. But I mean, these issues are very simple. It's you would think children could solve these issues.
You would think.
It's just a matter of making it happen and actually solving the issues.
Good point. What is one of the other things on your mind? I know border security is a big one for me, but what do you campaign on as well besides competence in the White House, which we need?
Yeah, thank you. I make it about liberty and pursuit of happiness, and I really break it down for everybody that pursuit of happiness is in the Declaration of Independence. It's a constitutional right, and it essentially is the purpose of life. As I said in my stand-up the other day, that's on my YouTube channel. But anyways, the purpose of life comes down to liberty. You have to have liberty. Otherwise, life is essentially meaningless. And so you need liberty to have pursuit of happiness, and pursuit of happiness is essentially the purpose of life for most people, or everybody.
And it's written all over our Constitution and all over everything about America: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Mitch,
a campaign that puts pursuit of happiness before everything else should prevail. Absolutely.
Thank you. And we need that because with gas prices going way up, with food costs, with the lack of baby food, I mean, it keeps getting worse. I can't even believe it. And
it's just a matter of, actually getting support from the Republican Party, or either party should support Pursuit of Happiness. But making that a priority, it really comes down to, getting support from the party to actually be able to get in the White House, obviously. So.
Well, Mitch, we're almost at the half an hour mark. This is Kavanaugh live in the studio Thursday
The
morning.
Republican Party is being called upon.
Thank you. They need to be. And we're live in the studio Thursday morning here on beautiful Harbor Country at the Sawyer Station, replaying Sunday night, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if you want to hear the replay close to Memorial Day, which will be Monday. Mitch, I'm going to ask you to find a little spot on your phone that you could play part of your video when we go to the half an hour mark in about 2 minutes. And then we're going to talk more about your campaign. Mitch, you just turned 35, right? So you hit the precise moment when you can run for president.
That's true.
Which is good. And
that's not the only reason I'm running, but that is true.
Sure. And you and President Kennedy would be the youngest.
He was 42.
candidates. Yeah, when he got elected, that's right. And the youngest
So if
president,
I get elected, I'll be the youngest president of all time.
Which would be great. And we're very excited to have you in the studio. I mean, it takes courage, guts, and everything else to go out there and get the word out. You also have a book. I believe you can get it on Amazon.
Yes.
So I've read it. It's really great.
Looking Out for America.
Yeah, and it's just fascinating. He's very, very smart, ladies and gentlemen, and it goes into some things that happened to him and what his thoughts are. You can get it on Amazon. I just bought it. It's $7 for the paperback. I don't know what the hardback cover is, but it's selling out very well. And you would go to Amazon and then look up Mitch, M-I-T-C-H, Taebel, T-A-E-B-E-L, for president. And this is no joke. He's serious, and he's out there. Do you want to play a little something?
Sure.
Okay. This is from his YouTube channel when he's going around and talking to people, doing stand-up, singing karaoke. This is a young man's way of running for president, and I admire it greatly, okay? It's got to be better than what we're experiencing now, ladies and gentlemen. Put it up by the microphone?
Not
okay,
yet.
all right. All right, so...
Can you hear it? On a warm summer evening, on a train bound for nowhere, I met up with the gambler. We were both too tired to sleep, so we took turns of staring out the window at the darkness till boredom overtook and he began to speak. He said, "Son, I've made a life out of reading people's faces and knowing what their cards were by the way they held their eyes. So if you don't mind me saying, I can see you're out of aces. For a taste of your whiskey, I'll give you some advice."
Keep going.
So I handed him my bottle, and he drank down my last swallow. Then he bummed a cigarette, and he asked me for a light. And the night got deathly quiet, and his face lost all expression. He said, "If you're going to play the game, boy, you got to learn to play it right.
Sorry about that. Go ahead.
You got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run, and you never count your money. When you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough for counting when the dealing is done." Everybody knows that one, Kenny Rogers, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Bravo. Okay, and you go to karaoke, I can't even say it, karaoke bars in Indianapolis, in Chicago, in L.A. You've gone.
That's right.
And you just walk around and talk to people. I've seen you in casinos locally where there's lots of people you can meet, and you tell them you're running for president. What kind of response do you get?
I get a great response. They all say they'll vote for me when they meet me, and I tell them I'm running. So the latest, greatest production is a compilation of stand-up and karaoke that I put together. And Yeah, it's 35 minutes long, and it's posted on the YouTube this morning.
Oh, great. Okay, and you can find it on the YouTube channel. Could you dial up Mitch for President or Mitch Taebel? How would you find it? What's the best way?
Just search my name in YouTube, and you'll find it.
Okay.
I've got a channel, and you can just scroll through it and play everything. You can play the playlist. There you go.
Mitch Taebel, Taebel. And Mitch has been on my TV show at WNIT, and we are going to be doing some other things to promote him. You know, you were in the Herald Tribune over in the Michigan City paper.
That's right.
On the Indiana side, and you were having a meet and greet at Lakeshore Coffee in Michigan City, right?
I did a book signing, and this campaign was published in the newspaper, yeah.
And that's how I met you. I came and
That's
I
right.
thought, if somebody's running for president, I want to meet him, okay? And,
You came to the book signing.
I did, and I read it cover to cover. I just got another copy for my friends, and you should read it. It's you can get this book on Amazon. Tell us about it again.
I certainly would if somebody was trying to run for president. I'd want to meet him in person. And
yeah. What is the name of the book again?
So the book's on Amazon, Looking Out for America.
Yeah, and
I think that people really like music, and it's something that you can just look at YouTube and see how many views get like music videos. How many views they get? They get billions of views. And then look at anything in politics, and you'll see they don't even compare. So, not very many people are interested in politics, next to music. So
you're right. And Mitch, we just had a primary. I think the primary here in Michigan, if I'm not mistaken. I don't live here. I live on the Indiana side, but I think theirs is in August. We just were one of the first primaries in the United States on May 2nd or May 4th, I think it was. I voted. And then I covered election night for about 15 minutes. I was over in South Bend covering it over there at St. Joe County. But, when I looked at the stats the next day, Mitch, our turnout was the lowest almost in history. The lower turnout we had for the primary was when I ran for state representative in 1998. It was so low in Indiana, it was at 11%. It made the Wall Street Journal. It was very embarrassing as a state that people just don't want to turn out. They're not interested. That's why I think your campaign is brilliant.
Thank you.
Because at least you're getting people interested in politics again, but not politicking, but, as you said, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and getting somebody in the White House that just knows how to get it done. I mean, without all this other stuff.
For me, it's just one more way to prove my competence.
Thank you. Yeah, and you do. And I'm just, I saw you can see his video. Is it still up when you're walking around L.A.?
Well, not just, but yes, it is. Walk of Fame, yeah.
Walk of Fame. So he went down the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Hollywood Boulevard, yep.
And
in Hollywood, California.
Right, where all the, ladies and gentlemen, there's the Grumman Chinese Theater where they have... now I think the famous Oscars are held, but in front of that are all the handprints of famous people in the sometimes music industry, but mostly motion picture.
The stars.
Thank you.
On the sidewalk.
And you were walking.
Not handprints. Are there handprints?
Yeah, they have some in the.
Maybe they do. I don't know.
Yeah, and but stars definitely. And you were walking up and down there, telling people you're running for president. It's fascinating to see him, ladies and gentlemen, at work. Because he's just so easy with people. And you're like a magnet. People are so attracted to you.
Thank you. I was a prom king nominee.
Well, you should have been prom king.
Thank you.
But we don't want any kings now in the White House, just, presidents. But because, I think the Queen is coming at the top of the hour, and she's going to...
Donald Trump was not a prom king nominee.
Oh, that's true. So...
nor was Brad Pitt.
Oh, my goodness.
Or any of the actors in Hollywood, or not very many of them.
There you go. What high school did you go to?
Ryan Seacrest was prom king.
Oh, yeah, he's very popular.
And he appears to have a very easy career ahead of him. I don't think he ever slept on somebody's couch for a single day.
Oh, probably not.
He just made one business decision after another, and now he makes over $75 million a year.
Wow, he's amazing, too. He's a lot of fun to watch.
I worked on set with him on New Year's Eve in Manhattan.
Did you really?
In Times Square, yeah.
Wow.
I was on set for 2 days.
What else have you done, movie-wise?
Men in Black 3 and J. Edgar.
Wow, okay. And then what about any television while you were in L.A. working?
Yeah, there was some CIS and a few other shows.
Great. Okay, and I
was on America's Court TV. That was my first speaking role.
Oh, okay.
I haven't been able to get a copy of it. I've contacted Entertainment Studios and asked them for a copy of it, and initially they said that they should be able to provide it, and then they did not do so. They weren't able to do so. And I called them back, and then they said they don't know where they could get a copy of it, is what they said.
Yeah.
After they said they should be able to give me a copy. And they also said that all the episodes should be, somewhere online.
What is that show about?
And I haven't been able to find it. Yeah. It's just like a court TV show.
Oh, okay. And what were you doing on the court TV show?
I was a lieutenant in the military, in the Navy.
Uh-huh.
And I was getting sued by my girlfriend over like a moped or something.
And who is like the head host of that show?
You're talking about the judge?
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget his name.
Okay, all right. So
Ross.
Yeah. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Mitch Taebel, for all of you single ladies out there, he's single. I'll tell you, he's handsome as heck. He's very well built. He works out all the time. He's smart as a whip, and he's running for president. And it's Memorial Day weekend almost, so here on Kavanaugh Live with Donna Kavanaugh, all of you out there listening to us talk about this very motivated, very smart young man who also is a featured actor in many films on television. He's my co-host now on WNIT whenever he's in town, and also live in the studio this morning here on Kavanaugh Live. We have about 15 minutes left, and I have to say, Mitch, I'm just overwhelmed at your guts. I mean, most people can't even get up and give a speech. You're going all around the country. You're going up to complete strangers, telling them, what you're involved in. And it's, do you ever get nervous, or are you just natural with this? Oh, yeah.
Oh, that sounds good. There goes the microphone stand.
Oh, we have that problem here in the studio. Yep. Okay. Well, while he's putting the microphone back together, that must be divine providence, because, he makes the earth shake. Okay. So
no, it always came very natural to me.
Yeah.
I was always a very social person, and I get along with people that when I just meet them very well.
Yeah, you're very good at that, and sorry about that microphone. It's dangerous. So
I enjoy it. I enjoy performing, and I enjoy interacting with the public, and that's why I chose entertainment as my career.
Well,
that's a big part of it, is promoting a movie and doing radio talk shows and TV talk shows, and that's a huge part of it. So if you're not prepared for that, then you can't be prepared to have a serious career in entertainment.
That's very well
so I always prepared for it, mentally.
Did you always think you wanted to run for president, or did it
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Yeah. Why was that a motivation for you?
I just had the feeling since I was a freshman in high school at La Lumiere.
You went to La Lumiere right over here on the Indiana side.
That's right.
That's where
Chief Judge Roberts went to.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, and you grew up in Long Beach, Indiana. So did he. So did I. And
yep.
John Roberts went to La Lumiere, same as Mitch did, and he is the head of the Supreme Court. They're under a lot of scrutiny right now. It's tough, very tough for them.
For a small school, or for a school of that size, there's a lot of notable alumni.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the school's on Wikipedia, and there's the whole list of alumni that went there, and there's also a link to it on my website.
Well, I went to the groundbreaking for La Lumiere when I was a child in the 50s. A group from Notre Dame University, adults who survived World War II, they started that school. And after Mass at Notre Dame, right over here on the Michigan City side, Notre Dame, which was named after Notre Dame University, the grade school and the church, we all went over to the site. There was only one building at the time. They had
It's very prestigious.
Yeah, they had the stone with 1953 or whatever it was, 56, whenever it was inaugurated as a school, and I was there at the groundbreaking. So I feel, and girls weren't allowed at La Lumiere when I was in high school. I went to Marquette, but
they were when I was there.
Yeah, but I was invited. Thankfully, I was invited to the prom. So one of the boys at La Lumiere invited, and I got to stay in they made space in the dorm for the girls. We all stayed overnight, and it was a great time, and really interesting people who
I chose to live there. I liked it so much.
Did you really? Yeah.
I was a day student initially for, I don't know, a month or so, and then I ended up boarding because I was like, this place is great.
Yeah.
I would leave and go home, and they were all, staying there hanging out and everything and having a good time. And so I opted to board there.
Well, you were smart to do that because it looked like it's such a beautiful campus, too. It looked like a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun to live with people my own age.
Yeah.
In high school.
So, Mitch, what are your plans now? We have about 10 minutes left. I know the Queen is going to be calling here. I know she wants to talk to you and talk about her Jubilee coming up. But where will you be in the next month or so? Where can people find you?
Well, they can find me. They can find the campaign online.
Okay.
I've got Instagram. I have Twitter. I have Facebook. Everybody's, friend requests and followers are invited.
Good.
LinkedIn as well. Just Google me. I encourage questions and comments on social media.
Good. And I see you on Facebook. I do Facebook, and you're always there with these girls that are just attracted to you. I can understand why, but you're just you're a chick magnet. That's what we
thank
call you. And I mean that with the greatest of respect. But
I hope to be back in California in the next month.
Yeah, that's great. Okay.
I would really like to be back in Los Angeles, especially with this new production that I've just released here. I think that I should definitely be getting a talent agent.
Well, I think that's the next step, no doubt about
it.
And
I've always had talent agents, but it's not just any talent agent. It's it's got to be one of the big, big five power agencies in Hollywood.
Absolutely.
And that makes all the difference in the world right there because they really have the connections. So.
Well, I was watching the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. I'm kind of glued to it every chance I get. And they had all the agents and the production people and the promoters on this past week. And they were talking, the lawyers would ask them about their background and they would talk to them. What do you do? How do you do it? How does it work? And I was in the film industry, so I know something about it. But it is fascinating to hear. Like you said, you have to get a good agent. They can open doors for you. You could be making $200 a week flipping burgers one day and $25 million on a movie the next. I mean, it's really incredible. So if you go to California, I wish you a lot of luck, provided that you're not in the White House by the time I see
Everybody's looking for an agent, but I think this YouTube channel really stands out.
Yeah, I think that's great. And you can find it on YouTube, Mitch Taebel, Taebel, and he also has a book called
Looking Out for America,
which you can get on Amazon. The paperback is only $7 plus a little tax. I don't think it's shipping and handling, if I recall.
And it's Prime.
Oh, it's Prime.
You'll have it in a day or two.
Yeah, so you don't pay shipping and handling. I got it overnight. It was great. So. Okay, we have a few minutes left.
And thank you for the wonderful review you wrote me for the book.
I did, because I was I didn't know what to expect when you told me you wrote a book. It's brilliant. Ladies and gentlemen, that book talks a lot about the current problem with our court systems, with some law enforcement situations, and then he goes right into his own life and then what he wants to do as president. I mean, it's This man is serious, okay? And why not? We got to start somewhere, okay?
A lot of the logistics of the federal government really come down to Supreme Court rulings, and I've spent a lot of time reading Supreme Court rulings, so and it's in the book.
Yes, you have a lot of that in the book. I'm telling you, he's brilliant, Mitch. You're brilliant. I don't know if you got all straight A's in college, but in high school, but you should have. So,
thank you.
Oh, okay. Well. I know the Queen.
Almost, but not quite.
Almost, but not quite. The Queen is on the phone. So, engineer, can you hold off for a minute? I want to play this, and I know she wants to talk to you. Okay, is that all right?
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to pull up something. Ladies and gentlemen, starting June 2nd to June 5th, the Queen of England will be celebrating her Platinum Jubilee. Now, here's a little recording about it. And I think that you might want to hear or see it. It's going to be, no matter what you feel about the royal family, here is something you might want to know about.
I like the royal family.
Countdown is on to the biggest party in the world. And things are about to get royally good because GMA and GMA3 are right there.
And Donna!
Front row seat to everything.
Did you guys hear GMA is coming for the Jubilee?
And so is Donna!
The royal pageantry, the celebration, the parties, and oh yes, the corgis. Good morning, America, the Royal Jubilee. It all starts Thursday morning on GMA.
Yes, this Thursday after Labor Day it'll be on. And, do you know anything about the Queen, how she became Queen and what she's gone through, Mitch? It's really
I don't,
something.
but I like the royal family. I'd like to hang out with them.
Well, they're going to hang out with you if you become president, that's for sure. But
Great.
she has her own song, God Bless the Queen. God Bless the Queen, her own song. And, she's going to be on in a minute.
I hope they'll hang out with me either way. I hope they want to meet me either way.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, here, I'm going to get her music because she's waiting to talk to you. So let's just see if we can bring this up, shall we? Hold on. And she is going to celebrate 70 years as a queen. And I'll tell you, I'll be celebrating right along with her. No pun intended. And as soon as we get this ad out of the way, we'll play her music. Here we go. Go ahead. Aha. All right. So it's very exciting to have her on the show. There it is. Yes, it's me, the Queen. Thank you for that royal introduction. And Mitch Taebel, I'm so excited to meet you, young man. How are you today?
Fantastic, thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as Donna said, I will be celebrating my Platinum Jubilee, which means I will be a queen for 70 years, and it hasn't been easy, I'll tell you that much. However, I hope you will join me along with Donna, who's celebrating her 70th, that's all I'm going to say, along with the Queen. I know, Donna, your birthday is June 6th, correct? Yes, D-Day. Oh, well, I'm so excited for you. But, Mitch, I think you are just an inspiration, and I wish that my grandsons had as much smarts as you do. No offense to them, but they keep arguing, Mitch, and you're so bright. I'm very excited for your campaign. And I wish you'd come over to England to visit me. Would you do that?
I would love to.
Yes. And I just think that, maybe you could talk to my sons, Mitch, about how to conduct themselves out in public. You seem to be very good at what you do. Do you find it very interesting talking to people, as Donna said?
I do very much. Can I tell you something, Queen?
Yes.
Yeah, my speaking role on America's Court.
Yes.
With Judge Ross is Season 1, Episode 83. I located the episode. I just have not been able to obtain a copy of it.
Well, it sometimes can take a while. I know how these things are. I'm constantly trying to get information from my public, but I think it's wonderful what you're doing, and I'm going to get off the air now. But ladies and gentlemen, please follow me from June 2nd to June 5th as I celebrate my golden platinum, I should say, Jubilee. 70 years as Queen, and it hasn't been easy.
And follow me on Twitter.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Mitch. You're the best. Wow, did you hear what she said at the end of the song? Thank you, Mitch. You're the best. The Queen doesn't usually talk to people like that. Oh, she thinks you're the greatest. Mitch, I think we've been honored by the Queen to talk to you. But thank you, Queen Tizzy. We really appreciate that.
I enjoy talking to the Queen of England every time.
Oh, yes, I know. And
I get to talk to her. It's great.
And she invited you
She's
to
wonderful.
the palace. Yes, she doesn't invite everybody, let me tell you. So, Mitch, you have the floor. We have about 4 minutes left. Please, the microphone is yours.
Oh, okay. What else? All right. I guess I could play something. We were going to do that, weren't we?
Sure, yeah. And do you have any plans? So where you? Oh,
can you hear this?
Yeah. Now, you're doing karaoke in a club in Chicago there?
Yes.
Yeah. This is a new young person's way of getting the word out that he's running for president. And I'll tell you, after watching all these speeches around the country during the primaries, you are a breath of fresh air, I have to tell you.
That's a short section of, 15-second section of what's in the documentary that I just released.
Okay, great. Do you have any plans Memorial Day Monday? Are you going to be any place in particular, honoring that day that we could find you?
Is it on a Monday?
Yes, it's this coming Monday. And I'll tell you, Mitch, over in Michigan City at the harbor, right on the bridge there, the Washington Street Bridge, they're going to be, last year, they're going to do the same thing this year. They throw a reef into Lake Michigan to honor the veterans. They have the blessing of the boats. They have 21-gun salute. And it's a great way to honor Memorial Day if that's one place you'd like to be. So maybe we might be able to find you there. You never know. It would be great to have you there at that site.
Is that in Washington Park?
Yes.
I've got my season sticker there. I picked it up the other day.
Well, it's not actually in the park. It's on the bridge going into the park right there, and people converge in what is called Millennium Park. Unlike, it's the same name as Chicago, but it's in Michigan City, and that's where everything will be happening. If you go around into the parking lot, there's a restaurant there called Fish Camp. And you park right there by the yacht club and fish camp, and you can go over to where the boat will be and the celebration, if there's a word I could use for Memorial Day this coming Monday. So maybe we'll see you there. We'll have to see. But I'm very honored to have you on my show, Mitch.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
I'm just amazed at what you're able to accomplish in your run for president and how, as a young person, ladies and gentlemen, he's doing it his way. As Sinatra used to say, I did it my way. That's kind of how I feel about you.
Certainly a one-of-a-kind campaign, isn't it?
Well, absolutely, and that's how it should be, because if Sinatra sings, I did it my way, you can do it your way as president, okay? So I'm very proud of you. Once again, can you tell people where they can get your book?
Just you can Google "Looking Out for America." Maybe throw add the word "book." I don't think you need it, but you can find it in the Google search, or you can search my name in Amazon.
Oh, good. Okay, all right. That's good. And then also let's tell us where on the internet we can find you and all of that. Would you?
Google.
Okay, and
I've got a website out there. It comes up pretty high in a Google or Bing search.
Okay. And you talked already about
Yahoo, I think, as well.
Your YouTube site as well, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And once again, the name of your book that you can get on Amazon is?
Looking Out for America.
Looking Out for America. Okay, that's great. And it's a very educational book, ladies and gentlemen, here on Kavanaugh Live with Donna Kavanaugh, the Queen, and Mitch Taebel, who's running for president, MITCH BEL, okay, and he is really, that book it's a learning experience about the Supreme Court and our laws and the legislature and everything that you're trying to accomplish in writing that book. It was really quite remarkable. So,
I think it reflects a bit of absurdity in the government too. All the rulings and everything, and seeing what the law says is one thing, and often what the states are doing is another.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can just really see that, and a lot of the case law is hard proof of entirely unconstitutional conduct by the government, and it's all there.
And you go into great detail about those case laws and everything else. It's a fascinating book, ladies and gentlemen. We're running out of time. My name is Donna Kavanaugh. I'm honored to be here with Mitch Taebel. And I'll tell you, if you find him, he'll be out and about talking about his candidacy. You might find him in a club doing karaoke and on the Hollywood stand up on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He's everywhere. And this is a young person. He's 35 years old. To me, that's young, okay? And he is that's the age when you can legally run for president, and he's doing it in a very modern way, and I'll tell you, it's so much better than having to sit through these
This is the
speeches.
future of politics.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Mitch, any last words you'd like to say before we get off the air here?
Just everybody follow me on Twitter.
Okay, great. And on Facebook, you can see him, and on his YouTube site. So, Mitch, I'm going to dedicate this song to you and to your candidacy for presidency. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining Mitch Taebel, myself, Donna Kavanaugh, and all of you on our tribute to Memorial Day to his candidacy for president, and he takes it very seriously. So, Mitch, I brought the chairman of the board, so to speak, to sing this song for you. Are you ready?
Okay.
Here it comes.
And so I face the fire.
That is not what the song I wanted. Oh, yeah, there it is.
Friend,
okay, here we
I'll
go.
say it clear. I'll state my case.
This is for you, Mitch.
Which I'm certain I've lived a life that's full. I traveled each and every highway.
Here it comes.
And more, much more than this. I did it my way.
And thank you for joining me, everyone, here on Kavanaugh Live. Mitch Taebel, Taebel. Thank you for joining me. You're the best.
Have a great Memorial weekend. Oh, that's all right.
Thank you. Yes.
Cool. All right.